What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I would like to recap Saturday's game between our Atlanta Falcons and the Baltimore Ravens. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for your continued support. Continuing to share out my content on all the social media platforms. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. I'm now also on TikTok. So if you'd like to follow me on TikTok, you also can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. But with that being said, I do want to wish each and every one of you guys a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas holiday with your friends and family. I hope you guys were safe on this holiday. I did have friends and family in town over this Christmas holiday and was able to, spend time with them. And that's the reason why I wasn't able to join for the Heavy Hitter show this past Wednesday. And I wasn't able to do the post-game show on Saturday because I did have family in town for the Christmas holiday. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So as I mentioned in today's video, do want to recap this past Saturday's game between our Atlanta Falcons and the Baltimore Ravens. As you already know, the Baltimore Ravens did beat our Atlanta Falcons on Saturday, which eliminated the Falcons from playoff contention. This is the 5th straight season that our Atlanta Falcons franchise has missed the playoffs. We haven't made the playoffs since 2017, which is really frustrating for the players and also for Atlanta Falcons fans. That we have to wait another season to see if our Falcons can possibly get to the dance and possibly compete for a Super Bowl. But these players have given their all every single game. Pretty much every single game we played this year has come down to the wire, has come down to the last drive of the game, or come down to a one-possession game. So these players have given us 110% all season. So I take my hats off to all of these guys that are out there putting on that red and black every single Sunday and giving their all to this team. But I do want to talk about some things that I took from the game, some positives, some negatives, and some things that the Falcons can improve on moving forward to finish out this season strong. We have the Cardinals and the Buccaneers still on our schedule. So we want to finish this season strong. And definitely, I do want to talk about, like I said, some things that this team can improve on moving forward. First off, we'll start with the positives that I took from the game. Both Desmond Ridder, Drake London, Tyler Algier, those 3 rookies have played their tails off for our Atlanta Falcons. And I really think that these guys are the future of this Atlanta Falcons offense. And to me, they were the bright spots that I saw on Saturday. Desmond Ridder looked a lot better in week 2 as him as the starter. He didn't look really well. He didn't play really well in week 1 against the Saints. He made plays here and there, but he's a rookie. And we knew that it was going to take time for him to build chemistry with these guys on offense. And on Saturday, he showed why the Atlanta Falcons drafted him. I definitely think that he could possibly be a future franchise quarterback. He still has a lot that he has to go out there and prove to this organization. But I've seen a lot of growth just in 1 week of play. I told you guys when Marcus Mariota was benched in my Desmond Ridder video that he was a guy that was more of a pocket passer, that he was going to be more accurate than a Marcus Mariota, that he was going to be more willing to take chances down the field with the football. He was going to give his wide receivers chances to go up and make plays, where we seen Marcus Mariota overshooting guys, throwing the ball out of bounds, not throwing the ball with touch, throwing every pass like a bullet pass. And we seen in this game why Arthur Smith made the change when he talked about wanting to see improvement in the passing game. In this game, Desmond Ridder threw the ball for over 200 yards in this game, and he has a great connection with his #1 target, which is Drake London. And Drake London showed in this game and over the last 2 weeks why the Atlanta Falcons took him in the top 10 in the draft. I told you guys that Drake London was my favorite prospect in this last draft as far as the wide receivers, and he showed you why he's going to be a special talent from years to come. He's a guy where He can go up and high point the football. He's not afraid to go across the middle. He's a very physical wide receiver. And in this game, he showed you why the Atlanta Falcons drafted him. In the last 2 weeks, since Desmond Ridder has taken over as the starting quarterback, Drake London has basically averaged 100 yards a game. He had about 95 yards, if I'm not mistaken, against the Saints. And in this game Saturday, I believe he had 96 yards receiving against the Ravens, which is a very stout defense. Both the New Orleans Saints and the Baltimore Ravens are two very stout defenses. And Desmond Ridder stood in the pocket with poise, and he made plays down the field. He gave Drake London opportunities in one-on-one situations. He threw the ball up with touch, gave Drake London the opportunity to do what he does best, which is high point the football against smaller defenders, and use his athleticism as a former basketball star that Drake London was in his high school and collegiate career. He showed you why, he's one of those bigger athletic wide receivers, 6'4", 6'5", 200 plus pounds, and pound for pound, one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. And he showed us in this game that he could be a top 10 wide receiver moving forward. And I believe that in this game, that three-headed monster, those rookies that we have, both Desmond Ridder, Drake London, and Tyler Algier running the ball and catching the ball out of the backfield, I think that we really have a great foundation laid for this Atlanta Falcons offense moving forward. Another thing that really stood out to me in this game, other than the three-headed monster of Drake London, Desmond Ridder, and Tyler Algier, was the offensive line. The offensive line looked a lot better in pass pro. We've been seeing them all season be able to be road graders and allow us to be a top 5 rushing team in the NFL. But in this game, they kept the pocket clean for the most part for Desmond Ridder. They gave Desmond Ridder time to look down the field. And against a very good Ravens pass rush and a really good Ravens defense, they showed why this offensive line has grown leaps and bounds. So I was really, really impressed with the way that they gave Desmond Ridder a clean pocket, gave him time to throw the ball down the field when, things got tough in the game on that last drive. They did a really, really good job in this game. If you go back and watch the game of giving Desmond Ridder time to throw the ball down the field, he wasn't under a lot of pressure like he was against the Saints. They gave him opportunities, and when the opportunity presented itself on a lot of those third down and clutch throws, it was Desmond Ridder to Drake London. That connection was special, but the offensive line did a pretty solid job in pass pro of, pass protecting. They looked really, really good against that Ravens defense. I don't remember how many sacks they actually gave up in this game, but I know it was less than 3. I believe it was like 2, maybe 1 or 2 sacks in the game. So they did a really good job of giving Desmond Ridder time to look down the field. So the offensive line in this game was, to me, one of the bright spots. Chris Lindstrom, who made the Pro Bowl, his very first Pro Bowl, was solid. All of those guys on that front line, Caleb McGarry was doing his thing. Jake Matthews, Drew Dalman has struggled, but he did a good job in this game of not snapping the ball on the ground. He did a really good job of making sure Desmond Ridder had the ball. Of course, at times he struggles when guys bull rush and things of that nature, but for the most part, he kept that pocket clean and gave Desmond Ridder opportunities. So I was really impressed both with the rookies on our team, that three-headed monster we have in Desmond Ridder, Drake London, and Tyler Algier. And I was really impressed with the offensive line in pass protection, because they've really struggled at times this year of being able to pass protect and being good in run blocking. But in this game, they did a really good job in pass pro as well. Some things that I think that this Falcons team needs to clean up, you guys know where I'm going, is the trenches. We seen after the game, Grady Jarrett really upset about the loss and talking about it's the same old, just a different year. The reason he stated that is because we gave up, again, 150 plus rushing yards for like the 4th or 5th straight week. We've been allowing teams to run the ball at will against us. And that's something that Grady Jarrett is getting fed up with. He doesn't have much help up front. We're seeing that this Falcons team, believe it or not, hasn't won a game since that Chicago Bears game that I actually attended. The Falcons are on like a 4 or 5 game losing streak since that game. And in that game, what's significant about that game is not only I was at the game, but we lost two key players on this Falcons team that reared its ugly head in these last couple weeks that we really could use. We lost both Kyle Pitts on offense in that Chicago Bears game, and we also lost Taquan Graham for the year. And a lot of people laugh, about Taquan Graham, trying to run with the fumble and end up dropping the ball in that game against, I believe it was the Chargers. But we see that Taquan Graham is one of the better run stuffers on this Atlanta Falcons team, because ever since Taquan Graham has left the field due to injury, both him and Kyle Pitts, this Atlanta Falcons defense has gotten a lot worse in being able to stop the run. So if you go back and look at film, if you go back to the first couple weeks prior to Taquan Graham going down with injury, this Atlanta Falcons team was playing a lot better at stopping the run. And ever since Taquan Graham went down, Grady Jarrett hasn't had that guy inside. I don't want to, take any shots at guys like the Butcher, Anderson on inside, who's been doing the best he can, and he's played pretty solid for us. But losing both Taquan Graham and then us cutting Anthony Rush early in the season really hurt this Atlanta Falcons team down the stretch. And we've seen it rear its ugly head in these last 4 to 5 weeks where we went on this losing streak. We haven't been stopping the run. Teams have been running at will. Yeah, the scores have been low, but that's not really due to this Atlanta Falcons team being stout. That's been due to teams deciding to run the football against us. Instead of trying to outscore us by throwing the ball and putting the ball in the air, teams have went to the ground game. If you look at any of these games that we've played, the Commanders game, they ran the ball up and down the field. This last game against Baltimore, they ran the ball up and down the field. Against the Steelers, they did the same thing, running the ball right at the teeth of our defense. And that has been the weakness of this Atlanta Falcons team since 2017, is that we can't stop the run consistently. So that's something that this Falcons team is going to have to clean up moving forward. If we want to be a team that's going to compete for Super Bowls, we have to be better at stopping the run. That's something that this team is not acceptable. Dean Pease going into the season talked about wanting to make this defense a well-known defense and getting out of the bottom half of the league, getting out of the bottom of the barrel. And we're 28th ranked in defense again this year. So that just goes to show you that defense does really win championships. And that's something that I think that this Falcons team, if we have something that we can hang our hat on moving forward of, why this team has struggled, why we went on this losing streak, it's the defense not being able to stop the run. That has killed us in a lot of these games. If you look at the time of possession, a lot of these other teams are possessing the ball. And when it comes down to the end of the game when we need a stop, there's been times when the defense have stood up and made plays. Don't get me wrong. But 9 times out of 10, teams are, being able to run the ball really well on 1st and 2nd down. And it puts them in 3rd and short situations where Dean Pease always talks about if it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, it's almost impossible in the league to consistently stop teams when they're in 3rd and short situations. And that's what the Falcons have lived in on the defensive side of the ball. The main reason this Falcons team is ranked 28th is because we haven't been able to stop the run consistently. So if this Falcons team moving forward, wants to be a contender, that's something that we're going to definitely have to address in the offseason. The next thing that this Falcons team is going to have to improve upon moving forward, and this will be the last thing, is going to be capitalizing on opportunities. You guys know that I always talk about there's 3 to 4 plays in the game that change the football game, the complexion of the game. And we've seen that the last couple weeks that reared its ugly head. I talked about the defense, but as much as I love Drake London, he's had 2, clutch fumbles in situations against the Saints on that last drive where he allowed the defender to punch the ball out. Then again in this game against the Ravens, we were in plus territory, in the Ravens territory, like on the 30-yard line. We completed a 4th down pass, and Drake London across the middle again. The ball gets punched out, and that changes the game because you lose the game. A lot of these games are coming down to the last possession. That could have been a touchdown or a field goal that kept you closer in the game or giving you the lead in a lot of these games. So if there's anything we can look at for this Falcons team as far as blown opportunities would be that we're not capitalizing. There's been, 3 or 4 plays in the game where we've had opportunities at interceptions. We've had opportunities to recover fumbles and just fall on the ball. The fundamentals of the game is really what has hurt this Falcons team. And I've been saying this all year long. That's been the issue with this team, is being able to, capitalize on opportunities. When there's plays to be made, we have to capitalize on it. And that goes back to this being a very young football team. This Falcons team is one of the youngest teams in the league. As you guys know, we have a ton of cap. Didn't have a ton of cap space because we have a huge cap hit of over like $80 million in cap hit. So this team wasn't able to go out and sign, veterans and big name free agents. So this team is very young, and we've seen this year, rookies make rookie mistakes. So we've seen that this year, that these young guys in clutch situations, because they haven't been in these situations, they've made, rookie mistakes in these situations that have cost us football games. But with that being said, you guys let me know what you think of the video. Give me your thoughts on this Atlanta Falcons team. Like I said, it is frustrating that this team is not going to make the playoffs again for the 5th straight season. But I do think that there is some silver lining, because this is a very young team, and they've shown that they can stay in every game. If you clean up a couple of these mistakes and you bring in a couple veterans, a couple new rookies to help pass rush, I definitely think that this team can definitely go places moving forward. But with that being said, this is me, your boy Jew. I'll holler at you guys in the next video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. Peace.